winner of the Associated Press Outstanding News Operation Award. This is Eyewitness News at 9.
Parts of the tri-state on alert tonight as snow is expected to move in overnight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brad Bird.
And I'm Kayla Moody. Western Kentucky counties could see close to an inch of snow tomorrow morning. Let's get right over to meteorologist Joe Bird, who's tracking this winter weather.
Well, Brad and Kayla, been poring over the models that have just come down here recently, and the snowfall total's still there, but the good news is they have kind of moved down to the south, as well as diminished the amount of accumulations we could possibly see. We'll get that in just a moment. Let's take a look at live first warning Doppler. Really not picking up anything in our area, just the eastern edge of Breckenridge County right now. Looks like they're seeing maybe some flurries going on, but right here in the immediate metro area, not seeing anything at all on live first warning Doppler. Let's show the network of Doppler radars, though. That's the system off to our west that you see right there in portions of Arkansas, but mainly in Missouri, but kind of on the border right now. That's what's heading our way for tomorrow, and it's kind of making a straight beeline from the west to the east, as you can see right there on Storm Tracker, kind of looping it for you so you can see how it's been moving since 4 o'clock this afternoon. So still a lot of clouds with us right now. Not seeing any snow showers anywhere here in the tri-state, but there are some just off to our west that will be working their way into our area overnight, early tomorrow morning. So here's what the latest future tracker has. Here's 2 o'clock in the morning, still not seeing really anything in our area, but getting closer to 4 o'clock, you can see just coming into portions of our southern viewing area, very southern viewing area, and then by about 7 o'clock, working its way into Madisonville, Hartford, and areas south of the Ohio River. And some of the models this afternoon were calling for mainly right along the Ohio River, maybe including Evansville and central Vanderburgh County. But the latest model data that's just come down, really keeping it down to the south. And then by 12 o'clock has pretty much got the snow out of our area and then pulling the clouds out of the area as well. So snowfall totals right now, I have pulled those back just a little bit. The lighter shade of blue, maybe a dusting to close to ½ an inch. And then the darker shade of blue could see up to ½ an inch. But I'm going to keep my eyes on the models and watch, see when the latest ones come down, exactly how much we could see. And then I have warmer temperatures in my forecast I know you're going to want to see coming up.
And highway officials say Western Kentucky counties are prepared in case winter weather hits. Keith Todd of the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says each county has at least one truck loaded with road salt and on standby. Todd says they will wait until snow starts moving in before sending trucks out. This is a just-in-case story, folks. He also advises everyone to drive slowly and use caution.
A new bill aims at addressing Indiana's unwanted animal population. The bill requires a dog or cat in an animal care facility in the state to be spayed or neutered before heading home with their new owners. The bill would also create an animal sterilization fund using money from the state to help families who can't afford to have their pets spayed or neutered. This would only be eligible for people whose income does not exceed 200% of the federal poverty level. But several places locally already provide these services, including the Vanderburgh Humane Society.
Eventually, we might be to the point where it's not as big of a deal, and that choice might lie with the adopters. But until all animals have a home and none are being euthanized for space across the country, we need to be spaying and neutering.
Today in Indianapolis, animal welfare advocates gathered to support the bill at the State House. Eyewitness News' Casey Mason tells us why local shelters are backing this bill tonight at 10 on WEHT Local. Indiana state senators working to fight the increase in crime in parts of the state. They're authoring a crime reduction package to better protect Hoosiers. It would increase the sentencing for a crime by 20 years if a firearm was pointed or shot at a police officer. Offenses such as resisting law enforcement, burglary, and robbery would be added if a deadly weapon is used. Also, the proposal would deny record expungement to criminals with 2 convictions using a deadly weapon.
An Ohio man is arrested today accused of plotting to attack the U.S. Capitol and kill government officials. Members of the Joint Terrorism Task Force arrested 20-year-old Christopher Lee Cornell today. That's after his social media post caught the attention of federal investigators several months ago. The FBI says Cornell told a source he aligned himself with ISIS and wanted to set off pipe bombs inside the Capitol and shoot people as they ran out. Investigators say the alleged plot was in the early stages and Cornell posed no threats to lawmakers. The new issue of Charlie Hebdo is already sold out despite a dramatic increase in circulation. But as the people of France continue to recover, a key terror group has claimed responsibility for the attack on that magazine. Sunlen Sarfati has the latest.
Within minutes of hitting newsstands across France, the new issue of Charlie Hebdo was gone.
I went to the newspaper store at 8 in the morning and they told me that they had only 100 copies and they sold everything in 15 minutes.
The new issue was released exactly 1 week after terrorists laid siege at the magazine's Paris headquarters, killing 12. On Wednesday, a major terror group released a video claiming responsibility.
The intelligence community has now determined that the AQAP video is authentic.
AQAP, or Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, claimed the attack was years in the making. The State Department is taking the video seriously.
We're still looking at every piece of information to determine, exactly the links here between the attackers and AQAP, particularly specific members of AQAP, like you noted, Anwar al-Awlaki.
AQAP stopped short of taking credit for the hostage crisis at a kosher grocery store days later, where another attacker who pledged allegiance to ISIS inflicted terror. New images like this empty stroller reveal the extent of that scary day. This investigation now an important part of a global effort to rein in the threat of terror. In Washington, I'm Sunlen Sarfati.
A scandal at the Secret Service leads to some big management changes. Acting Director Joe Clancy announced today 4 top Secret Service officials must step down. The employees oversee core areas like investigations, technology, protections, and public affairs. The changes are likely due to the security breaches at the White House and on President Obama's detail last year. Former Secret Service Director Julia Pearson resigned back in October.
Back in the tri-state, a hoax all too familiar with some Evansville residents is making national headlines. It's a phone scam targeting parents and grandparents. The caller pretends to kidnap a loved one, and the only way to save them is to pay a ransom. It's happening in New York tonight. The NYPD says it's getting calls daily about the scam. So what if you get this call? What would you do, or what should you do? We talked to some people downtown who say they would probably pay the caller, but others say they would go straight to police.
They're very persistent. They make a lot of threats. They don't want you to get off the phone. They want to get the deal done right then and there because they realize that if you do start to ask a couple of simple questions.
And police say there are a few things to keep an eye out for. Pay attention to the caller's area code. Ask questions only the victim would know. And be careful how much information you share on social media.
A man Evansville police call a person of interest in a Thanksgiving murder is in the Vanderbilt County Jail tonight. 19-year-old Keith Davis was booked today on a failure to appear charge. Police have been looking for Davis after Willie Williams was gunned down in an alley Thanksgiving night on South Elliott Street. The other person of interest, 20-year-old Michael Wisdom, has been arrested on charges of dealing narcotics and petitioned to revoke his probation status. EPD says neither man is charged with Williams' death.
Union County officials say an unfortunate set of circumstances played a role in how some stolen equipment ended up being purchased by county government. Now, as we reported Tuesday, 62-year-old Thomas Elpers and his son, 36-year-old Andrew Elpers, allegedly masterminded a $1.5 million theft ring. The younger Elpers is currently being extradited from North Carolina. Authorities say the duo would steal heavy equipment from construction sites and businesses, then sell the stolen goods. Authorities believe some of that stolen equipment may have been sold to the Union County Fiscal Court. On December 30th, Judge Executive Jody Jenkins says detectives seized a couple of mini track hoes and a skid steer that the county bought in late 2014. Jenkins says the Fiscal Court followed all of its purchasing protocols and bought the equipment from what he calls a reputable company.
It was a used piece of equipment, and it was, you vet things to a certain degree. It just was an unfortunate circumstance.
Jenkins says when the county purchased the equipment, it came without a title. At the time, he says he didn't think much of it because the equipment was used and licensing such equipment is not required in Kentucky. Jenkins says the county has been cooperating with investigators, citing an open investigation. Authorities are withholding the name of the company that apparently sold the stolen goods.
A busy intersection in northern Vanderburgh County could see big changes in the future. Flashing lights are set to go up at Boonville, New Harmony and North Green River Road, making it a four-way stop. That's just a short distance from where a new Walmart will soon be built. A lot of traffic goes through that area, and even more cars are expected with the new Walmart. The project includes a new bridge and impacts the nearby railroad crossing. Officials expect the project to take 2 to 3 years to finish. Another step forward for the IU Medical School proposal. The Redevelopment Commission voted to buy the D. Patrick Body Shop for $1. The city is planning to sell the property to developers to build campus housing for the IU Medical School. The deal gives the city a way out of the property in case it doesn't receive state funding for the IU Medical School.
The fate of a deteriorating downtown Evansville building could be decided by the end of this month. A protective fence has been placed now around the 19th century Owen Block building at Southeast 2nd and Chestnut. The city is now seeking a demolition order and has scheduled a public hearing for next Thursday at the Civic Center. City officials say they are still working with historic preservation organization Indiana Landmarks to create a financial plan to stabilize the building. Now, coming up later, I'll be joined by Kelly Coors, the executive director of the Department of Metropolitan Development, to discuss the future of the historic Owen Block and an 11th hour effort to possibly save it. That's tonight's Eyewitness in Depth.
2 Evansville City Council members file for re-election today, along with the city clerk. From your local election headquarters, Democrats Jonathan Weaver and Missy Mosby both made their re-election bids official. Mosby serves the city's 2nd ward. Weaver is at large. Incumbent city clerk Laura Brown Windhorst, also a Democrat, will face her 2012 opponent Misty Hart in the May primary. And the wife of a current county politician is now seeking public office. Anna Melcher, the wife of Vanderburgh County Commissioner Stephen Melcher, will run for Evansville City Council. The Democrat is running in the 3rd ward, the seat currently held by Stephanie Brinkerhoff-Riley, who says she is not seeking re-election. Melcher says her plans for the future include improving council unity.
As a council member is to be cohesive and to work with everyone on the council and to ensure that our community is well informed, knowing the responsibilities of the council and knowing their responsibility to the community. I thoroughly believe in people serving people. That's how we get things done.
Yesterday, Anna Hargis filed to run on the Republican ticket for that same 3rd ward seat.
And Tina Stein joins us now with what's coming up at 10 on WEHT.
Well, women have been coming forward for months claiming comedian Bill Cosby sexually assaulted them. He has denied all of their claims, even poked fun at the situation during one of his stand-up routines. But new allegations might have him changing his tune. Unlike the others, this claim only 6 years old. We'll have that story tonight on Eyewitness News at 10.
And after the break, meteorologist Joe Bird has our forecast.
Kayla, it's a good-looking forecast. Now, we do have the snow to deal with tomorrow, but most of us won't see any snow tomorrow. Some of us will. We will see some sunshine tomorrow, though, and we need that because we need to warm up. We got to 31 degrees today after the cold morning low of 21, and the rain bucket was dry. I'll talk about snow on Eyewitness News at 9 continues.
Eyewitness News at 9 continues.
Davis County Public School officials introduce a new redistricting plan impacting hundreds of students. The new boundaries will take effect next year and will cause more than 300 students, mainly in elementary schools, to go to different schools. Changes include moving more than 100 kids out of the Meadowlands Elementary School boundaries and adding nearly 75 to Eastview and Country Heights areas. Superintendent Owen Saylor says it's needed to balance shifting population to eastern Davis County.
There's population movement to the eastern side of the district, and our data shows the growth of our elementary schools is moving up exponentially on the east side while staying flat on the west.
5 public hearings are scheduled over the next few months. The first will be on January 26th at Meadowlands Elementary. This year's summer musical in downtown Evansville will feature a Disney classic. The Public Education Foundation and the EVSC announced it will perform Mary Poppins. The Tony Award-winning musical will be at the Old National Events Plaza from July 9th through the 12th. All tri-state students from grades 8 through 12 can audition. The auditions are scheduled for March 2nd and 3rd with callbacks on the 4th. Rehearsal begins immediately after the end of the school year. And now here's Tina Stein with news from around the nation.
Around the nation, Penwell, Texas. A bus crash kills 8 inmates and 2 correctional officers. Officials say the bus left the road and collided with the train. 4 inmates and 1 staff member are taken to the hospital. Highway officials say the road was icy at the time of the accident. Gastonia, North Carolina. A school bus carrying 40 students overturns. Officials say several people are taken to hospitals. None of the injuries appear to be serious. No word what caused the crash. At Bowie, Colorado, a tanker truck crash shuts down an interstate for hours. Officials say the truck rolled upside down, spilling diesel fuel. The driver's taken to the hospital with unknown injuries. And a lucky coyote is back on land after a cool run on Lake Michigan in Chicago. Fire crews dispatched a boat to cut through the ice in order to rescue the animal, but the coyote was enjoying that icy landscape a bit too much to get caught. It eventually made its way back to land and disappeared along the lakefront before the fire department could even get close to it. What an incredible sight. I'm Tina Stein. That's your news from around the nation.
I'm Stacey Johnson. If you're paying a couple $100 to get your taxes done, you may be paying a couple $100 too much. There are a lot of people that qualify for free filing. Are you one of them? Let's find out. This is ahead on Money Talks News.